Feels good to do videos and relax for a couple weeks. Uh, our next important games in June, Leeds and Leicester, doesn't matter. Welcome to another video. Today is a different video. There's been so many tweets, so many articles about West Ham in the Conference League and Man City in the Champions League and West Ham and Man City's relationship. So I'm going to talk about my perspective on this. I was curious. Now, I did not know this until last year. I did not know this. I did a research. Why do West Ham and Man City like each other? And on Google, it said that when Man City got relegated, West Ham chanted about them being back and stuff. And it started from there. And I think they just gained a respect throughout the years. Now, West Ham and Man City have had a lot of players that have, well, not a lot, but players that have played for each other or been associated with each other. Stuart Pearce managed City. I don't know whether he played for them. I don't think he did. But he managed Man City. He managed David James, who also played for West Ham, and Stuart Pearce obviously played for West Ham and was a coach at West Ham. Come back, Stuart Pearce, please. Trevor Sinclair played for both teams. Joe Hart was shit at West Ham. Played for both teams. Wayne Bridge was shit for West Ham and played for both teams. Pablo Zabaleta was a nice man, not a mercenary. Was too old at West Ham, but was great for Man City. There's a few. I did not enjoy watching Pablo Zabaleta at West Ham. I wanted to blow up every time I watched Joe Hart play for West Ham. He had a couple good games, but overall it wasn't a successful loan, in my opinion. We did not need to sell Adriano Randolph, but we ended up completely fucking up that whole goalkeeping situation. And yeah, I wasn't a fan of it at the time, and obviously a manager that managed both teams, that managed Zabaleta at West Ham, was Manuel Pellegrini. Now, I was a fan of when Pellegrini came to. I did not know he was managing in China. If I knew that before, I wouldn't have wanted him at the club. I remember when Pellegrini came, I was like, he's won a league at City, so let's come on. Everyone thought when we signed fucking Felipe Anderson, Jack Wilshere, Yarmolenko, Issa Diop, Balbuena, Carlos Sanchez. Oh my god. Who else did we sign? Fabianski. We were active in that window. Ryan Fredericks. Oh my god, Jesus Christ. We signed more. We signed Nasri. Nasri's another player that played for both teams. But when we had Pellegrini, I was gassed at the time. It's going to be alright football. Wants to play on the floor, possession football, all of that stuff. And everyone thought Europa League when we signed all of those players. That was the point I was coming to. My mind switched off with the amount of shit players we signed in that window. Looking back at that window, it was not a good window. We were just happy that our club was spending money on anyone. There was no standards really, because look at the 17-18 season. That was just a shambles, to be completely honest, with the way we operated overall throughout that whole season. So when Pellegrini came around, he fucking failed. I wanted him out after Oxford, because as much as we were on a good run, I couldn't have another Wimbledon situation where you literally lost to Wimbledon. What was it, 4-2? We lost to Oxford 4-0, I'm pretty sure. Masuaku, Carlos Sanchez, etc. Players having bad games. He should have been sacked a lot before that Leicester game. I remember beating Chelsea, and I was like, as much as it was like, yeah, cool, we beat Chelsea. I hate Chelsea. I wanted Pellegrini gone. With all my heart, I wanted him gone, because I was like, what the fuck am I watching? But speaking of Pellegrini, I think it was when he won the league. I think it was the 13-14 season, when Man City confirmed their league title by beating us at the Etihad. Liverpool fell too short. I think that was the Gerrard slip season. I think Mourinho fell short that season, and Pellegrini won it. Pitch invasion. But then the Man City fans, like what we did when they got relegated, when we clapped them, they clapped us. They came over and clapped our fans. And I don't know, it's just always been a respect there. From my perspective, growing up, I didn't see City before the takeover. So when I was growing up and it was Mancini, they had Silva, Torre, Company, they signed Aguero. A year later, it was the Kolarov era. You know what I mean? Though both of the Torres actually. Colo Torre was also there. Obviously, there were so many players. Company's probably my favourite captain that I've seen outside of Mark Noble, like in the Premier League. Like that's a leader that I've always rooted him to do well, and I just liked watching that team. So I already kind of liked City, like just watching Man City, and I was very happy for them when they won the league. I remember watching it on my sofa as I was probably like 8 years old, turning 9, and I wanted them to win the league because I grew up disliking Man United and Arsenal because there's so many people that support United and Arsenal that I knew. I was like, it winded me up a lot. I know 3 City fans. I don't really speak to them anymore, but I knew 3 City fans and they were all cool. But I was glad when they won the league with like Aguero and all that moment. And over the past few years, we've like kind of helped them. We helped them last year with Liverpool. We beat Liverpool. We were their first loss. I'm not saying we were the sole reason, by the way, but we played a part. Like, you always got to play a part. We drew with Arsenal. I wish we won against Arsenal. See, now Southampton went 3-1 up. But obviously, shit happens. We drew Liverpool in the 18-19 season at home. So we've helped them to a few titles. But obviously, they could have won it without West Ham. I'm not going that far. And there's been a lot of things over online where City Ham has become a thing, and there was that video of the Grease song. It shows all like the former players and all the former managers or the people associated or whatever. It's a bit of like a parody sort of video, and City Ham has been running online ever since, and has been genuine like support, like go and win the Champions League, go and win the Conference League. And I liked Pep ever since I saw that Wembley final growing up when they beat Man United. I've always liked Pep Guardiola since then, and I don't support the English teams in the Champions League apart from City. I've got nothing against Liverpool. I know a lot of our fans don't like Liverpool because of certain beliefs. I don't get involved in all of that because I don't care. But City's the only team that I really like kind of root for. So I wouldn't mind them winning the Champions League. I was very surprised because last year I was convinced that it was their year. This year I was convinced that Real Madrid were going to keep their thing. So pretty much just don't trust me on predictions. And we'll come to that when I do my Premier League prediction reaction at the end of the season because it's fucking awful. Man City battered Madrid. We beat AZ Alkmaar. They've supported us. We supported them. It's nice to have some former players that played well for both. There's not many that played well for both. But yeah, listen, big up Man City. Outside of that, I don't really know why the association is so strong, but it is what it is. They also clapped Mark Noble when we played them and drew 2-2. So big up to them. I've never really had a problem with them. I've always stuck up for them with the whole spending money thing because everyone spends money, and just because it's some brown person that owns the club doesn't necessarily make it wrong, does it? I get people don't like the whole human rights stuff, and that's understandable, but unfortunately you can't play the moral high ground in football because of there's so many shit football owners. So we can't really do that, and I don't think it's appropriate for us to comment on whether an owner should be there because of what they do off the pitch, because we could go through every owner, and if you do a bit of digging, you'll see that there's a lot more shit owners that are not just from the Middle East. Like, when I mean shit owners, I mean as people, quote unquote, allegedly. So we can't really criticize another team for doing that. And if it was me, like, think about it, every owner is a billionaire. Well, a lot of owners are billionaires, and a lot of them didn't get their money by just doing morally correct stuff. So if I'm talking about West Ham, get me the richest owner and let them build a structure at the club. Because think about what Man City have done over the years. They don't buy world-class players. They make players world-class. They make players in the academy. If you look at Rico Lewis, Cole Palmer, you never know what could happen with him. And Phil Foden, obviously. McAtee, that's out on loan. Doyle, that's out on loan. Bazunu, Lavia, that's at Southampton. Dozy, that's at Southampton. Larios is at Southampton. I'm pretty sure Southampton bought 5 players from City's academy. And the way they are run is the way I want my club to be run. Whether you like the owners or not. Because look at David Sullivan. He's fucking shit. So that's what I will say on West Ham and Man City. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Leave a like on the video and subscribe to your new social medias. I'm in the description. You want to follow me and an email for any inquiries. And I'll see you guys later.